Welcome back to Radio Entrepreneurs. My name is Jeffrey Davis, and this is Radio Entrepreneurs a la Zoom. And we are zooming in on Marc Z from Marc Z Legal Staffing, one of the sponsors of the show, founders of the show. Welcome back, Marc.
Thanks, Jeff. Great to be here. And whether it's in person or virtual, it's always a treat to be on your show.
Well, Marc, we need to give you some coaching right online. Sit back just a little bit because we've cut your chin off. We want your whole happy face. There we go. There we go. So Marc, I do a lot of work with some law firms. You only work with law firms. There's a lot going on in the law firm business. Courts are changing their rules. How's your business changing in this economy?
Well, first of all, Jeff, we not only work with law firms, but we work with legal departments of every type of organization. Just
right.
As legal, we're there. But our business has changed a lot because as firms and companies have going virtual with their employees, a lot of the attorneys that we've placed and have started, and the paralegals and support that we've placed, they're all figuring out ways to work at home efficiently and effectively. And particularly if you're with a litigation firm, for example, a lot of the work can be done in terms of on systems, so it doesn't happen. Then you have e-filing that can be done on systems. So basically 95% of our clients have now gone virtual and have equipped with their technology department people to work from home. Or if you're a corporate attorney, again, documents. So a lot of the work now is being done virtually and productively.
I feel like law firms were almost the fastest to adapt to what was going on because they were doing so many things prior to this crisis. But I would assume the type of placement that you're doing right now is a little bit changed. Is that true?
Well, it's interesting when you talk about the type of placements. We're doing a lot more attorney placement and paralegal placement and support staff placement that we've done because firms can immediately equip attorneys. We've had a couple of candidates, for example, that we successfully placed that just recently started as of days ago. And immediately they've gone into the firm, they've given them a laptop, they've gotten them on the system, and they're doing Zoom training. They're having different meetings, but not in-person meetings. So that attorney can get right out of the box very quickly to start doing work. So it's the new normal of how they're working with their orientations and getting the attorney to work productively. Now, unfortunately, where we've seen a lot of sad changes are with support staff. That was an area that firms were using less and less. Some firms were using in a blended role of a paralegal and an administrative assistant, but they can't have that person, if they're an administrative person, do any billing. So it's a hard course. Sadly, that person is the first to go. So a lot of firms have started laying off administrative staff, and that's been a huge change because they can't bill out their time, and firms have to look where to save cash.
Now, you're an entrepreneur as well, and that's what this show's about. So you don't only work with legal entrepreneurs, but you are an entrepreneur yourself. You had a model for your business, and I assume you've had to change your business as well very quickly. Can you talk about that? And also, I want our listeners who are now seeing you for the first time to know that those two gentlemen behind you were your first two placements when you went into the business, right?
Right. I went on the time machine, and I was honored to work with them before the courts of their day.
Well, we know that attorneys sometimes can dress a little old-fashioned, so I needed to date it. So let's talk a little bit about your business.
So our models changed immediately in my own office when our clients were telling us they were moving virtually, which a number of partners said to us that what they were doing, because they didn't want their team having to come in and obviously be contagious to other people, because everybody could be a carrier of the coronavirus. And so they started bringing their IT division in and making these changes. We have been, for many years, had a system where people could not only work in the office, but there were some days where they couldn't be in, they'd work outside the office. And we have a few staff members that part of their weekly routine is they were working 1 or 2 days a week outside the office. And we had them hooked up effectively where they could talk to clients and they can communicate with clients, and you don't miss a beat. In fact, I always joke that I hear from some recruiters more when they're working virtually than when they're in my own office. So we changed that model. So immediately, about at least over a week ago, now a week and a half ago, on Monday, the 16th, we got everybody who was not equipped. In fact, we had a new recruiter start that day because we've been so busy, and we were excited to have her aboard because she's been an attorney, she'd been in the business, and really, really knowledgeable. And we got her equipped up right away to start working virtually for us.
Do you find that over your career that working with lawyers, legal departments, and law firms, that being an attorney yourself has made it easier for you to understand and keep clients happy?
Absolutely. The whole thing is I speak that language. I've been in their shoes. So as firms and in-house departments or whatever attorney type situation or paralegal type situation of a law firm changes, I can pivot and have my team pivot with them, because I feel a lot of times I'm the senior partner of a law firm, especially when we're working a lot in the legal space. We're like many times the outside GC. So I can pivot with them. I understand their needs. When their needs change, I can relate to where they're making those changes. Whether they say to me, for example, Mark, we now have a massive litigation project. We need a strong contract attorney to handle that. We have a mergers and acquisition project. We have to do that. Working with a partner who needs to move firms for a better opportunity, she or he will say to me, well, do you think I should be looking now? And a lot of times I can say to them, knowing the market, this is actually the best time, because firms are using this as an excuse already to make changes, to bring in upgrades of people that may not be able to continue with their firm due to firm circumstances, but are very good billers, are productive, and they bring a lot to the firm. For example, we have now an attorney who was a service attorney and 2 strong paralegals who were with firms, and the firms couldn't retain them. We already have them out on interviews. So we have the ability to move with firm needs. We understand candidate needs and firm needs, and keep moving forward and working strategically with the firms, who a lot of times will say to me, Mark, I still have this position. I'm actually really recruiting for it. And if you have somebody who's good, we want to see them. Or, by the way, unofficially, we just moved a person in a spot where somebody wasn't working out that well, and they had a situation where the firm wanted a nice way. The person had been there a long time, but their performance had deteriorated, and they were able to, quote, lay them off in this pandemic time. And that person will be able to ultimately get a job and bring in somebody who's efficiently and be able to afford them.
Well, I'm going to make more of a statement now as a management consultant because our time is limited for this one interview, but we know you're going to be back a lot over the new format. As a management consultant, I know that law firms have, the leadership in law firms have encouraged their staff to make active changes in their self-management and their client relationship skills and their sales skills and marketing skills. And I actually think that plays to this economy. And those attorneys that have learned that, good, and those that haven't need to understand it's time to make change, get consultants, get coaches, and make the changes that the market is demanding. It's time to make change, and if they can do that, they're going to survive. Correct?
I agree with you. At any time, whether it's been through recessions, adverse situations, for example, I've talked to numerous partners of law firms and one general counsel, And they've always said, now, ironically, a lot of the corporations, especially the technology or life science companies, have been doing virtual work for a long time. And firms have been slow to come up with it. But a lot of firms have told me now, you know what, Mark? Before, I just let certain attorneys work virtually. Now, we're more open to it. Paralegals, we used to not want the paralegals to work virtually. Now we're open to that. So everybody is really, before it was 5% working virtually across the law firm and in-house world. Some firms are predicting that now after this pandemic, it's going to be more like 20%.
I remember, and then we'll have to go and we'll sign off. But I remember about a year ago, I had lunch with one of the managing partners of a big East Coast law firm, one of the largest in the country. And I said to him, I think that law firms that are adapting are going to get rid of 70% of their brick and mortar. And he looked at me and he said, well, you're probably right. I don't know if it's 70%. Well, he's right. I wasn't right. It's probably more like 80 or 90% now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Space, where a lot of firms were negotiating or are in the process of negotiating more space or continuing their lease, that's going to change. And landlords are starting to even step up a little bit on that.
Well, listen, in a world of change, we're going to be talking to Marc Z a lot this year. And Marc, if somebody's looking for, needs to contact you about making changes in their law department, their law firm, how are they going to find you?
First of all, we still have a phone number. We're there for everybody. It's 617-338-1300. Go to Marc, M-A-R-C-Z, legal.com, MARCZLEGAL.com, marczlegal.com.
Great. And you can find me at jdavis@mageusa.com or 617-462-4738. Also, I know we can find you, Marc, on LinkedIn all the time.
Absolutely.
Marc, stay healthy, stay well. Look forward to seeing you soon. You know what the biggest problem with this virus is? No Marc Z hugs.
Jeff, I send you an invisible hug, a strong invisible hug, and stay healthy.
Well, let's see those arms, Marc. I want the Marc Z hug. Come on, get those arms up.
Looking forward to it.
You tell your family you gave me the Marc Z hug today.
You got it.
All the best, Marc. We'll speak to you later. Remember, everybody, this is Radio Entrepreneurs.